Peak Wealth Management proudly presents Finding True Wealth with certified financial planner Nick Hopwood and accredited investment fiduciary Jim Pilat. Nick and Jim believe by making simple, good financial decisions, you can retire with confidence. And now, let's turn it over to your hosts, Nick and Jim.
Welcome everyone to episode 118 of the Retire with Confidence podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jim.
And today we're talking about backdoor Roths and Roth conversions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a really hot topic for us lately. I feel like we've done an awful lot of these recently, and it's worth giving the folks an update and overview and why it's important.
But first, we have to say, we believe by providing education and guidance, we can inspire you to make great decisions, leading you so you can
retire with confidence.
Nailed it, right? Also, today is the first day for Adam the Intern.
Adam the Intern.
In fact, he's right here. You can't see him.
He's supervising.
Yep, we have an audience. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you.
So, in preparation for Adam's first day, I was watching The Office last night. And I was thinking, if I were Michael Scott, right, what could I do?
Yeah.
So, be ready for some hazing.
Yeah. It's a good place to draw some inspiration from.
Exactly.
The Office.
Like, well, I could do this, but... Okay, so back to Roths, right? So sometimes I feel like like my desk is called like the Roth Conversion department. Like I'm in the Roth department of Peak Wealth because we do this a lot.
We talk about it a lot, yeah. We love Roths.
So the problem with Roths is that, it's hard to get money into a Roth. Right? Because a lot of people make too much.
Yeah, not everybody qualifies to do it just a traditional Roth contribution. So if your adjusted gross income is over 198 or so, I think it is this year, you're ineligible to make
Full disclosure, that was an estimate. I don't know what the number is.
Yeah,
it's somewhere around there.
And I made it vague because maybe they watched this 2 and 3 years down the road, and the number's going to keep changing. So, but it's in that neighborhood at this point. So. But yeah, if you become ineligible to make that contribution based on too much earning income, good problem to have, but unfortunately you can't make that Roth contribution.
A lot of people that could qualify for a Roth, they always feel like they can't afford it, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, where am I going to get that $6,000 or $7,000? Well, we can help, right? We can definitely help in that case. But for the people that do make too much, right, what do they do?
Yeah, there's opportunity out there. For some people, it's the right fit to do a backdoor Roth IRA. We think that can be a really powerful way to get some money into Roth accounts. So basically, the way it works is that it really does have to be the right fit, because if somebody has an IRA, it starts to get a little messy. But if you do not have an IRA and you make too much money, you can make a non-deductible Roth IRA contribution and then immediately convert it to Roth.
Well, you lost me there. That was like really technical. First of all, backdoor Roth, that sounds sneaky.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that.
It's perfectly legal. It's perfectly okay to do. The IRS says so.
All right, so what do I do now? If I don't have an IRA, I put money in a non-deductible IRA.
Yep, you make an IRA contribution, so no 401k, nothing like that, not a workplace account, but it's an individual retirement account. You make a contribution into it, a non-deductible, so you don't intend to take that. Typically an IRA, you get a pre-tax contribution. Not the case with this. You make it a non-deductible, so you never intend to take the tax deduction on that.
And then the next day, I convert it to a Roth.
Yep.
So there's really no earnings or anything. It just, the $6,000 or $7,000 goes into the IRA.
Yep.
The next day it's converted, and now you have $6,000 or $7,000 in the Roth.
Yep.
And there's no tax consequences.
Right. Because we didn't take any tax advantage by making the contribution in the first place, and we never invested the money, so there's no growth that we need to report as taxable income on it either. So. And
now it's tax-free forever.
Now it's tax-free forever,
That's amazing.
Which is why we like Roth so much.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I want that. Well, what if you do have an IRA?
It starts to get a little messy because the IRS will look at that and want you to make your contributions pro rata, kind of, right? Or you can't just say, well, no, I only want to convert this part. The IRS will say, no, well, that $6,000, $7,000 that you put in is maybe 10% if you have a $70,000 account. So only 10% of that would be considered a tax free conversion.
Yeah. So if I am in the 30-some marginal bracket, I got to prepare to pay that rate on a pro rata portion of the conversion.
Yeah.
Which kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. So a lot of times it gets kind of messy if you have an IRA. Some people who have smaller IRAs, it can be a good incentive to just bite the bullet, convert the whole thing, and then backdoors become available ongoing.
So if you make more than the limit, okay, you could probably use some financial planning advice, especially when it comes to the back door. So many times people are not taking advantage of this.
Yeah,
okay.
we run into it a lot. And the people have extra money. The people who can't make the Roth contribution can usually afford to do that backdoor contribution. And it's really nice to have those multiple buckets of retirement money, taxable, tax-free, and so on.
Yeah, and imagine, if you're doing that Roth contribution from age 30 to 60, right? We're talking about hundreds of thousands of tax-free money.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really does move the needle over time.
Absolutely, yep, very powerful.
But what's even more exciting is the Roth Red Zone, or the Roth window, some people call it. And that means because that could be even bigger dollars than a backdoor Roth, which is like $6,000 or $7,000 per year. So what we're talking about here is someone who's retired. Let's just say 62. Someone between age 62 and 72. They're retired and they're not showing the IRS very much income for whatever reason.
Right.
So they may be, collecting Social Security only and then living off their bank account.
Right.
Or their brokerage account.
Yeah, a non-qualified account like that. Yeah. So if you can live off Social Security and pull a couple $1,000 here and there from the bank, you're not going to show the IRS very much at all. Your income is going to be really low.
Your income could be low enough so you have a zero tax. And that's because Social Security is taxed favorably. And if you're living off your bank account or your brokerage account, that's after-tax money.
Right.
So you might find yourself in the 12% bracket or less, in the 0% bracket. So what we do is we take your tax return, run it through our program, and determine if we convert $10,000 this year, what would be the tax consequence.
Right.
Sometimes it's zero.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like $500.
Right.
Sometimes it's like $500 on 25,000 conversion. And that is really exciting for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, to be able to take, a large or meaningful portion of that IRA, convert it into Roth, have it become tax-free forever. That not only benefits you because you have tax-free money now, but it also, once you reach age 72, where RMDs become a factor, we've been able to lower that IRA balance so that the required minimums are likely to be lower as a result as well. So
how does this work? It works because your 12% bracket goes up to around $82,000 for a married couple. Okay, and then we have the standard deduction, which takes us down. So oftentimes we have a fair amount where we can convert at 12%. Okay, so that's kind of the nuts and bolts behind it. But why does it stop at 72? That window from, let's say, 62 to 72.
Because then, we kind of already talked about RMDs a little bit, but you reach a point at age 72 where the IRS starts forcing you to take money out. So all that money that's in the IRA needs to be converted, and that all comes out as taxable income. So
then you're kind of filling up that bucket.
Yeah, we're chewing up a lot of that available room that we had to convert.
So if you do the required minimum and then try to convert beyond that, you might find yourself in the 22% bracket, and then it's not as advantageous.
Not as appealing, yeah.
Okay, so in closing, if you make too much for a Roth, you should be calling us. And you can reach us at peakwm.com. You can schedule an appointment on that website as well. Yeah. What else?
Check us out. If you need a second opinion.
Yeah, second opinion, right. Second opinion on the portfolio, second opinion on the retirement plan, right? Do I have enough?
Right. Yep, absolutely.
We'll see you next time on the Retire with Confidence podcast.
You've been listening to certified financial planner Nick Hopwood and accredited investment fiduciary Jim Pilat on the Finding True Wealth podcast, sponsored by Peak Wealth Management. You can learn more about Peak Wealth Management by visiting peakwm.com or follow on Twitter at nhopwood1.